Well, it is New Year's Eve and I am cooking. I went and got steaks from Costco. I've seasoned them. I put on steak seasoning, garlic, some Worcestershire sauce. I also got scalloped potatoes cooking, some asparagus in here. That needs to cook for a little bit. So I thought somebody was going to come over here, and maybe they still will, maybe they'll change their mind, or maybe somebody else will come over and hang out with me because I got plenty of food. I guess I'm not exciting enough tonight because I'm not in my sequins and I'm not going out. So since I don't have a grill, I have to cook them on the stove like this in a pan. But after what happened across the street with the fire and the grill, I'm kind of worried about getting a grill over here. Feels not safe. So maybe if I ever get a house. Well, let's see what the Dazzling Furry Gentleman's doing. What's the Dazzling Furry Gentleman doing? You're sleeping up here, creature? He loves these Pendleton blankets. Yes, I have a lot of them now. And today, I'm going to be wearing Versace Yellow Diamond. That's what I'm wearing. How are you, creature? It might just be the two of us tonight. On what are we not Christmas Eve, or it's New Year's. So many holidays, I'm like, okay, which one's now? Well, I was coming in here to refreshen this drink. I'm having tequila and pineapple. I thought, let's do some random thoughts. I'm gonna drink some tequila. This could get interesting. I like this brand a little bit. So that is the brand that I'm having right now. And I'm just in like this really loose, loungy silk robe thing that I guess you're supposed to wear when you're trying to impress a man and you're going to bed or something. I don't have anybody to impress. I have been thinking a lot about the Bale Heron with that psycho. I don't even like to say his name. I don't even like the name Benny, okay? I actually don't like that name. It kind of was like, ah. And for anyone to think that I was even his girlfriend, like, repulses me. But I guess that's what happens when you're being manipulated by an actual psychopath. What a thing to add to the list in life, being manipulated and beaten by a psychopath. So something I've been doing is I've been looking up stuff about psychopaths on YouTube. And there's this really interesting girl that I want you to watch. Her name is like Kanika Batra. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I'll put her name up here. Look her up. She's very interesting. She just tells you how it is, and I love that. I love that you might be saying something you shouldn't be saying, but you're doing it anyways because it's gonna help somebody out kind of attitude. And that's kind of how I am. There are some things that I'm kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't go there yet, but I probably will at some point because I'm not ridiculous. Something that I found to be very interesting that I learned this year, because it's the end of the year video, please remember that antisocial personality disorder is a psychopath, okay? So if anybody's like, oh, I have antisocial personality disorder, know that they're an absolute psycho, and I'm gonna personally stay away from them. I'm not gonna risk it. I can't be dealing with that again in my life. The thing I thought was interesting that she said is that psychopaths don't really learn from punishment. So that would make sense why, even though he's gone to anger management and he's gone to the psych ward and he's been on medication and he's seen doctors, he doesn't learn from it. She said it's because you don't remember why you did what you did. You don't have the reasoning. So how can you learn from something that you don't remember? And I thought that was really interesting. So that means that even if he goes to prison, even if Benny goes to prison, he probably will not learn from it. And I kind of thought that. I just need him to go for my healing, for my personal healing. And the other thing that freaks me out about that situation is I know that he will not see it as his actions got him there. He will see it as I put him in prison. He is that crazy and that delusional. He will not see it as, oh, well, I tried to kill her, so I'm getting punished for it. He's going to see it as, you could have chosen to not press charges. You could have chosen to not talk in court. You could have chosen this and this to make it so I didn't get in trouble. So it's all of a sudden my fault. You know, you're doing this to me when he did it to me. You know what I mean? So that's scary, especially after hearing what the judge said in the bail hearing. And I've been really like having a hard time with it, and it's been triggering me and causing me a little bit of trauma that I didn't expect to have, because initially I was like, I'm ready to do this. Let's look out for other women. Let's look out for people in the community. Let's make sure he goes away, because I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. And I feel a responsibility, like I can stop it. You know, if he's locked up, he can't do anything to anyone. And if I have the control to make that happen, I'm going to do it. So, and it's not looking good. Not looking good by that bail hearing. He did not get released. He did not get released. No one posted his bail. I'm hoping that the people that sat in court with him, that were vouching for him to be a good guy, after hearing that voicemail, after hearing what I had to say, were like, oh, everything he said to me was a lie. I have also been looking up stuff about Ted Bundy, a serial killer. I have been watching a lot of those movies that they have on him on Netflix, the serial killer channel. And it's kind of like Benny. Very manipulative. Like, there was a part in one of the documentaries I saw about Ted Bundy where they said that he was going into lineup, you know, with a bunch of different guys for a victim to identify him. And he changed his hairstyle right before he went on. He like if my hair is part on the side, I would go like this. So like throw you off, like hopefully you wouldn't get it right. Pull my hair up so you wouldn't realize how long my hair is, or something like that, you know? Because he knew he did it. And one of the officers said that. And that's how smart they are. They are smart people. Just because somebody does something awful, you know, doesn't say anything about their intelligence. Their mind's off, you know, their thinking's off, but they can still be a very smart person. So why we haven't learned from past serial killers and know how people can manipulate people, you know. And that's the other thing I learned by watching stuff about psychopaths, is that a lot of therapists don't want to see people that have antisocial personality disorder, because it teaches them how to manipulate people better. And a lot of therapists know that. So thinking you're helping him, thinking, okay, well, he's gonna get better. No, you're teaching him how to be better, to hurt people. But then what if it's like I end up getting murdered and you've been watching me through all of my stuff, and then this is like a famous YouTube channel because this is the girl before she got murdered. You know, I have that in my mind, you know, those random thoughts in my mind. I'm going, oh, okay, what do I want to say before I'm killed? You know, like, okay, oh no, I'm being funny but not funny, you know. So it's like the world now is built to make you not like yourself. Okay, we have all these filters on pictures, like hate the way you look, or don't post anything real about yourself on Facebook. Make sure it just is your best life, you know. You're smiling, you're having dinner, you're dressed up, you know, show your best face. But how many people are really saying, man, I'm having a hard time right now. I don't know how I'm going to deal with whatever, you know what I mean? Like, should I post on my social media page about being brutally beaten by Benny and what the, you know, what might happen with court? Like, he might be released. Should I go on there and warn people? Or are people gonna think I'm crazy? Like, you shouldn't share this publicly, even though I'm doing it here with you on my YouTube channel. I don't know, it's like, it's a different space, you know, a different audience, a different expectation, you know, I'm doing a lot of inner questioning of myself and how my life has gone, and trying to make sense of like, why is it that I'm in this weird space in life where I still don't have what I truly want, what I've always wanted, what I knew I always wanted. I always knew that I wanted to be married. I always knew I wanted to have that. I knew the foundation was very important. I always knew build the foundation before you have children. Build your relationship with your husband before you have children. Don't get married because you got pregnant. I've always known that. But life happens and you do what you gotta do. You know, no judgment for me. But if I have a choice, I'm gonna do it that way. It's like a weird shift in getting older that you don't realize. And it's not that I'm really old or anything like that. I just kind of go, I feel like it's passed me by, you know, those time for things have passed me by. And it's also sad to think that as much as I would love to be married, and maybe, you know, somebody I've known for years, we'll reconnect and it will be something, or maybe I'll meet somebody next week and it will be something. I don't know. You never know what will happen in life. But there's gonna still be a sadness because it took so long, okay? It's still going to be like, not as fun, not as good. And I don't want to say that because I'm never going to change that I want this in my life. But it's just kind of like, wow, I wanted someone that knew me for, you know, in my 20s and in my 30s. And I kind of wanted someone that knew me along the way. Not someone's going to meet me at the end of my 30s or in my early 40s or maybe in my 50s. Nowhere near that, but it's kind of a sad thought because any one of us could die tomorrow. And then to think that I might not ever get to do that, I'm gonna say my life was a waste then. And you're gonna say it's not, but it was for me because I didn't have my real happiness. There are so many things that I'm holding out on doing because it requires being in a romantic relationship. There's so many places I want to travel. Maybe I should tell you all those places I want to travel and then you can go there and then you take pictures and then you tell me how it was. But some of these places I want to go because I want to take pictures there because I'm all about like photo shoots and like video making and all that. So anyways, random thoughts and the tequila. Tonight on NBC, Dolly Parton, you know I like Dolly Parton, and Miley Cyrus as her goddaughter, are doing a New Year's Eve special live. So I am gonna tune into that about 10:30 tonight and see what that's about. Since it looks like I'm alone, didn't plan that, but that's okay. I'm not being super exciting for people, so, you know, sorry. I'm trying to think of like what, reflecting on this year. And I want to say about like this New Year's thing, tomorrow's not going to be different than today necessarily. It's just a date on a calendar changing like any other day. Maybe think about things you want to stop doing instead of things you do want to do. What are you doing in your life that's making you unhappy that you should stop doing? Maybe you're drinking too much. Maybe you're spending too much money on something. And we all need something that nobody can take away from us. And we need something we can do alone that is gonna be ours. You know, maybe you're spending too much time worrying, and maybe you need to work on like not worrying, you know, being more aware of your instincts and trusting your instincts instead of, you know, panicking. I panic. I have a lot of anxiety. I have social anxiety disorder, so I used to do a lot of overthinking, and I probably still do, but a lot of like, oh no, this person didn't get back to me yet. this is bad. They must be cheating on me. They must be doing something else, or they don't like me, you know, they must not like me. They, you know, but some people, they'll read a message and they'll be busy and then they'll respond after they've thought about it, or when they have time to talk to you. Doesn't necessarily mean they have a problem with you. And I do think it's really weird that the district attorney, which is my lawyer, they call him the DA, hasn't called me after the bail hearing. So then I'm like, did I mess up? Did I do bad? But I know they have a lot of cases. So I'm like, that's another one of my overthinking things where I'm like, okay, don't get ahead of yourself. It's okay. Breathe. Breathe. Have a shot of tequila. And I hope you appreciate my rawness in my lack of editing on these videos sometimes. I like to really edit it because I'm an editor. I love, you know, making sure you see what's the most important and cutting out the things that aren't. But this is just gonna be raw. Creature and I are watching the news and the weather report before Dolly Parton comes on with Miley Cyrus to bring in the new year. But I was just telling Creature, you know, Creature, you get about 500 kisses a day. Something to brag about. Not a lot of other kittens get 500 kisses a day. We're ready for Dolly Parton. We're ready for Dolly Parton. We're hoping we're not going to get snow or ice. Still drinking my tequila. Okay, Creature. How's that animal food?